Welcome back to the Arsenal Podcast 2021. Happy New Year, everybody. I tried to do a Happy New Year video, but it didn't go so well. It never had audio. I put it off, but Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to the Courses Arsenal Podcast, and welcome back to another year. 365 days of banging it on a daily basis. You get me? 365 days. January is here and we are back at it again. You get me? Back at it again is back. New graphics, new channel, same old Cossy, same old news, same old Arsenal. Why not? I'm going to be discussing how Arsenal could actually line up in 2021 with transfers. Is it gonna be Isco? Is it gonna be Buendia? Don't get frightened. Don't get nervous. We are gonna go through it together. Of course, there are not going to be so many changes. Are they? But make no mistake. I want you guys to subscribe to the channel, like the video, place a like on the video because we want 500 likes in this new year per video. 500 likes, and we are targeting 50k subs. That is massive. If you're gonna get there, we need to work hard. But all has been said. Happy New Year. Let's get down into how could actually Arsenal line up in 2021. Our problems have been creativity, and probably most of the work we have to do, according to Edu anyway, is gonna be bringing in a creative player. Who is gonna be? Or two, or three. Let's just get into this video and I tell you how Arsenal should actually line up in 2021 with potential transfers. Love you all. Alright, so guys, not welcome back because we are already on the video. And let's just get into this lineup. In goal, I think Buendia deserves to stay there. He's not been one of the best goalkeepers this season, especially at the beginning, but I think he has done, he has paved his way and he's trying to come back to the old Leno we know. He tried to pull off a couple of saves. I have his saves in my intro, which I didn't play. The reason is I do not know. Okay, in the center back, I think Gabriel will come back. However much he's suffering with coronavirus, I don't think we are much interested in that. He will be coming back to our center midfield, our central defense, and I think he has been doing so well. One of those players that have actually adopted to English Premier League football. We signed him in the summer. Mikel Arteta trusted him, gave him the right from the first game. He's played a couple of games, if not for the red card he incurred against was it Burnley? Yeah, no, it wasn't Burnley. The red card, was it against Southampton? I think against Southampton. He's a nice defender. He's a good defender. There are a couple of players that we can play in his position. Pablo Mari probably, but you still think we need Gabriel in that defense. The area duels, the ground duels, his perfection, his speed, the ability to play the ball. I think he's still a wonderful player, and I would want him to be in Arsenal's defense all the time. Of course, the partner is the big problem. Do we partner him with Pablo Mari? Because Mikel Arteta doesn't really trust William Saliba. We thought he was going to go for Eric Garcia, but that's a done deal. He's going to be signing for Barcelona. So I think he's going to continue using Rob Holding. Make no mistake, I'm not a big fan of Rob Holding, and everybody on this channel knows that. I'm not really a big fan of Rob Holding, but I still think Gabriel and Holding will be Mikel Arteta's choice for the centre-back pairing. Now, Kieran Tierney has made himself one of the best left-backs in the world, and that makes me... What is this? I want Tierney as a left back. Okay, let's just say Bellerin comes in here because of course Mikel Arteta loves Hector Bellerin. Of course they have that bonding and so on, which I actually do not care about. But Bellerin is not one of the best right backs we have this side, and it only triggers the rumors that we have been linked with Lamptey and a couple of other right back options like Max Aarons in the past, even in the present. So sticking with him is only because I think Mikel Arteta is going to be sticking with him. He has already given him 2 recent games after coming back from that ban. Yet I thought Ainsley Maitland-Niles had done a great job. So it seems Ainsley and Cedric, one of them will be leaving, or actually both of them could actually be leaving the Arsenal fraternity either in the summer or next year. So I think Bellerin actually stick in the right back. Of course, like I said, Kian Tierney gives me an option, but to place him in the left back, Sid Kolasinac has left for Schalke 04. It gives him, it gives him more energy. It gives him, motivation that maybe I'm that player Arsenal can trust, and trust me, we can trust him. Yeah, we can trust him. I think Kian Tierney has been one of our best players this season. Make no mistake, not to forget Saka and man himself, Thomas Partey. But I think Gabriel, Tierney, Partey, and Saka, they have been the light. They have been the small light that is left of a burning candle, and I think they have been absolutely marvelous. Okay, moving forward in the midfield, of course there are no questions about that. We need 2 players in that pivot. And the question is, who are they going to be? Okay, first and foremost, on the right, it's going to be Thomas Partey. I mean, that is quite easy to decide. Thomas Partey all day long. And I think Arsenal we have really missed his presence at Arsenal. We have really missed his presence at Arsenal. If only we could actually, have Thomas Partey against Chelsea and Brighton, we should have scored more goals, in my opinion. We should have scored more goals, and probably we should have also had a better, defensive shape. But make no mistake, I think Partey is coming back against Newcastle, because against West Brom, it has been confirmed that he will not be there. Now the question is who partners him, because we have been linked with a couple of players, and I think Granit Xhaka and Mohamed Elneny have already shown themselves as very, very low quality players. Very, very low quality players. They should not be playing alongside Thomas Partey. They shouldn't be playing in our midfield. However much Thomas Partey is a good player, just imagine if you played him with a player like Bissouma, if you played him with a player like who else? I mean, Ike Gundogan, that kind of quality. But the problem is, I don't think we shall go for any of those. So I think let's stick with Dani Ceballos. I mean, no offense. I think Ceballos has the ability to play with Thomas Partey, because Ceballos is a good passer of the ball. He can drive it forward, pass that ball in the wings. Of course, he's a sideways man. Sideways. Yeah, I do understand. And Thomas Partey is a forward man. So if you play Ceballos and Thomas Partey in that pivot, probably they could do some job. They could get some job done. Make no mistake, we need a number 10. We need to add to the creativity with Partey, Ceballos on the pitch. I know you're gonna tell me, Kosi, we need Emile Smith-Rowe back in the side, and I do agree. We need Emile Smith-Rowe back in the side, but let us not overwhelm this young lad with a lot of pressures. Yeah, he's a very good player. I do understand, but in my concern, Arsenal should go out there and sign Emiliano Buendia. Look, in this position, we have a couple of players that can play, around there. Yeah, Buendia, if he joins, he can play there. Apart from that, you have Willian, who is foolishly fooling around with our money, but he can also play in that in that area. But you have Emile Smith-Rowe, so it's only a matter of time for Emile Smith-Rowe to provide enough information that I deserve to be in this place. I think he has really done well in the past 2 games, but of course we can't just fall away. We just can't get driven past our limits of thinking that a young lad who has played 2 games very well is going to play 10-15 games consecutively. We need a player who is tested. Isco has been linked with the club, and some reports claim that his deal is very close. But with Partey, Ceballos and Buendia, I don't think Arsenal will do an Isco deal. Or if we do Isco, then we might not do Buendia. But I would also want it to be Partey, Isco and Buendia. I mean, it would be quite interesting, though. The problem there is Buendia does not fight for the ball when he loses it. Isco does not fight for the ball when he loses it. You're getting exposed. There is one player that I think has already cemented his start Arsenal, and that is none other than Bukayo Saka, the young lad, the 19-year-old who has been absolutely a maestro. I think he has earned his start at Arsenal. The statistics speak for themselves, and wherever that he does on that pitch, they speak for themselves. So I do not need to speak much about Bukayo Saka. I'll go for Gabriel Martinelli on the left, and I have my own issues. Look, he is as young as Bukayo Saka, and if you ask me, who are the best teenagers at Arsenal, who are the best young players at Arsenal, I'll give you 3 of them. I think Balogun, Martinelli, and Saka. As simple as that. Martinelli, there is that kind of fighting spirit he adds to the team. There's that kind of there is that kind of zeal, forward thinking, forward, going forward, that he adds to the team. Make no mistake, I don't think he is that kind of player that you should put a lot of pressure on, but he is ripe enough. It is time for Martinelli and Saka to shine, so we need to give them more game time. And up front, I would go with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, because I'm gonna speak for myself. Alexander Lacazette and Aubameyang, both of them could actually fight for this position, but I don't think we should make a mistake to go for Alexander Lacazette. I know he has impressed in the last 2 games, in the league, but Aubameyang is still our star striker. With a player like Martinelli, Saka, and Buendia, or Smith Rowe, or Isco, or Julian Brandt creating chances, you need a player like Aubameyang to finish them off. So make no mistake, Alexander Lacazette is just good for the bench, and I think the time he had to prove to us that he was a nice player, he actually didn't use it. So if we do not go for Buendia in the number 10 role, probably it's going to be Julian Brandt, because there are a couple of stories linking us with Julian Brandt, and many people think, I also think he is a wonderful player, but he is not on fire. So he comes to the club, we need to give him some time to get the spark. Instead of Dani Ceballos, we couldn't think about players like Joan. He writes his name as Joan Jordan, exactly. It's already here. So we could think about players like Joan Jordan to partner Thomas Partey in the midfield. I also think he would offer very, very good company. He's a very slow player, but sure. Exactly. Very slow, but sure. And I would actually love to see him at Arsenal. That is only if we have the means to bring him at the club. But talk about players like Yavis Bissouma, Brighton. He's been linked with the club. And I think actually he's another good player. If you partner him with Thomas Partey in that midfield, it's gonna be hilarious. Yeah, very, very hilarious. But make no mistake, we do not have a lot of money to spend in the January transfer window. And finally, I think the midfield could also be occupied by Isco. So Bissouma, Partey, Isco, or Ceballos, Partey, Isco. That could be the kind of combination. And I think this is a very balanced team. Bissouma, Partey, Tierney, Gabriel, Holding, Bellerin. Surely your defensive work is done, because Gabriel Martinelli and Saka are also very good at dropping back to serve the team. That's why I went for a 4-2-3-1. And going forward, Bissouma, Partey, Isco, Martinelli, Saka, and Aubameyang. You're sorted with Gabriel, Tierney, and Bellerin adding to the attack. I think we would be sorted. That is what I think. Those are the different formations I would think of Arsenal going with in the January transfer window. Make no mistake, I want to know your opinions. How could actually Arsenal line up in January? Well, guys, yeah, that is it. So, for me, I'm looking at just adding creativity to our side. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not really looking at things like Arsenal going out there and signing, 20 players, 40 players. No, can we add that creativity? Because I've seen Arsenal can possess the ball even without Thomas Partey. We can't possess the ball against Chelsea, a side with a lot of quality in the midfield. Kovacic, Kante, and a couple of other players. So we can. Yeah, we can. The only task we have as Arsenal now is go out there and start creating chances. Of course, as we have to bury them. Create them, bury them. So that is my lineup. Make no mistake, in the comments, I want to know, who are your January targets? Yeah. Who are your January targets? And How can Arsenal line up in January with potential transfer targets? Smash the like button, comment with your opinion, and I want a subscription because I deserve it. I'm working on New Year. I should be taking beer outside, but I'm working on New Year, so I deserve it, don't I? Have a blessed day, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.